Hi, everybody. I'm Rob, and welcome to Storm Crow Overland, where we talk about going on adventures, road tripping, camping, and generally just getting out and enjoying life. For this week's video, we're going to go through and talk about some of the highlights from 22, some of my just personal highlights. Then we're going to move on to some of my 2023 kind of adventure overland kind of goals. And then after that, we'll follow up with the trips that I'm hoping and planning will happen this next year coming up in 2023. All right, so to start off with the highlights, the biggest highlight probably of the last year for me would be the trip that I talked about in a previous video. It was my trip. Started here in Oklahoma, basically took the highway straight all the way to Moab. Went to Moab, played around there a little bit, then hopped on the Rim Rocker Trail. Took it all the way from Utah into Colorado. Like I said, I mainly talked about that in my Rim Rocker video. But it was a great trip. From once I got off the Rimrocker Trail, went and explored around Colorado a little bit, visited Ouray, Silverton, drove part of the Alpine Loop. That was amazing too. And then slowly kind of worked my way home from there. The last night I was out, I actually stayed at a hip camp that was it was a cabin converted from an old school bus. And it was really just a neat place to stay up in the high desert. Great views, great sunsets. And then headed home from there. But that trip itself, several days out alone. I managed to go 2 full days without seeing another person, which is, if you think about it, that's kind of hard to do sometimes. So that was really amazing. Got to spend a lot of time with my own thoughts. I got to kind of work some stuff out in my head that I needed to work on. Speaking of working stuff out in my head, one of the other highlights of last year happened about a month after that trip. I got to go on this thing called the Motorcycle Relief Project. This is something I've been trying to do for years, and there's just been some issues that have popped up here and there. It kind of prevented me from doing it, but I finally, everything worked out, stars aligned, got to go this year. It's an amazing program. What they do is they take veterans and first responders out. You go out for a week. You stay out in kind of a cabin in a remote area with no cell phone signal, no outside distractions. You basically go ride adventure motorcycles all day, and then the evening you have, I don't even know how to describe it, kind of group discussions. It's based around mental health. It's almost like a workshop, but it's not what you would think of as like therapy or group therapy or anything like that. It's a bunch of people with shared experiences kind of sitting down and talking about how they're dealing with stuff, how they found a better way to deal with their issues, and kind of help the group and help everyone find different ways to do it. I made what I would consider some lifelong friends on that trip. Got to ride around Colorado on a BMW GS 1200. It was just a great time, and got a lot of mental health tactics and tips and kind of helped me with some stuff. Obviously, have a long way to go. I don't think any of us are ever going to be perfect in that area, but it definitely made a difference and helped a lot. It's a great program, and if you are a veteran or first responder and you like adventure motorcycles, look into it. Just Google Motorcycle Relief Project. You'll, if you do end up going or you have gone, you will be shocked that riding adventure motorcycles all day is the least interesting part of the whole trip. On my way home from that trip, I had kind of road tripped up there, camped in Kansas on the way out to Colorado to do this. And on the way home, I had looked up, just was trying to find a neat trail to run on the way home back to Oklahoma. And I found a trail called Medano Pass. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. I think that's what it is. Kind of nothing, not super technical. There's kind of some steep rocky parts. Just a neat path. You cross Medano Creek multiple times throughout it, so you get some water crossings. And then the really neat part, if you run it, I forget which direction. The direction I went, you're driving through mountains and trees and forest, and it's just gorgeous. And all of a sudden, you turn a corner, and there's giant sand dunes. The trail kind of ends at the Colorado Great Sand Dunes National Park, and then the last several miles of the trail is in pretty deep sand. It was a really neat experience getting to kind of just expecting mountains and trees, and all of a sudden giant sand dunes. I want to go run that trail again. I think the views on it are amazing. I think my wife would really like it. And just I want to go see the sand dunes again. That was awesome. Other highlights. These are a lot lot minor compared to the last couple. I did finish the drawer system in the Forerunner. The previous owner of it was my dad. He had built a platform in the back where he had stored Rubbermaid containers underneath, and it worked. It was functional. The only problem was it was two containers, and if you needed something out of the back container, you had to take the first one out, find somewhere to put it, then pull the second one out, find somewhere to sit it while you dug through it to get what you needed. So I really like the idea of having just one long drawer I can pull out. It will just stay there. So finished building it out, getting the drawer slides and all that. Covered the whole thing in upholstery so it looks not factory, but it looks nicer. And then last thing this year, I went ahead and got my GMRS license. I've had a ham radio license for I think about 3 years now. Honestly, I was kind of disappointed with ham radio. I got into it thinking I didn't have realistic expectations about what ham radio would let me do with a technician's license. Found out it wasn't as useful for me in my situations. There was range limitations, and I really wanted something in my vehicle that I could just talk to the other vehicles around me that are, if I go out with other people. GMRS just fit that a lot better. And then plus my family can use a GMRS license as well. So kind of went that route. Like I said, now I still have my ham license, but now I have the GMRS license as well. Just kind of gives me more capability. I may or may not renew the ham license when it comes around, but I'll definitely keep the GMRS. So now that we've kind of reviewed some of my highlights from the last year, let's talk about some of the goals I have moving forward into 2023. And these aren't all my goals. These aren't like New Year's resolutions or anything. These are just things that I would like to get done that are kind of adventure-y or overlandy that I thought y'all might be interested in. The first one seems silly to me that I've never tried it, but I really want to try hammock camping. I do have a cheap kind of Amazon knockoff hammock that I usually carry around in the back of the Forerunner. I've set it up at camp a couple times to lay in it just to sort of lounge and hang out. But I've never actually camped and slept in it. So I want to try that this year, especially when it's hotter out. Other than that, one of the main things that I want to do to the Forerunner, I really would like to add a snorkel this year. I believe it's Dobinson, makes a really good snorkel for the V8 4th gens. I like to splash through water. It's fun. It looks cool. I'm a little kid at heart. Even if I see a puddle, I'm going to hit it. So probably should go ahead and work on getting a snorkel so I don't destroy my engine, because like I said, I love splashing through water. I've already extended the rear diff breather to help there. So I'm trying to do everything I can. I'm not stupid. If I'm trying to cross water and I don't know how deep it is, I always get out and go walk it, use an excuse to get in the water anyway. I'm never going to try to go, through water that's over my tires or anything, but it's just a safety factor, and it's not difficult too. Plus, the other good thing with snorkels, the few times that I've done like group trail rides out here, it's Oklahoma, it's dusty. We get real dirty and dusty and kind of clay, red sand mixed up. And my air filters look horrible after going out on group rides. So having my air tank up higher gets hopefully slightly cleaner air. Something else I want to work on this year is a better job of documenting my trips. I've done okay in the past. This last year I did a lot better job of making sure I took my good camera and actually taking pictures. I did a good job there. I also started, my daughter for last Christmas bought me a nice little leather-bound journal. And I usually take it out on my trips with me and just kind of journal about what the trip was, where I went, who was with me, fun stuff like that. So we can, I can always go back and look at it and review stuff, or, oh, where did I go, or what was the name of that neat little town we went through. So I want to keep doing that, and in the process, I want to start adding more video, more drone footage, stuff like that. One, for the YouTube stuff, and two, just because it's fun, and it's neat to go back and look at it later on down the line. Something else moving forward, I would like to try to get a new tent this year. My tent I've had, it's a 5-person dome tent, it's about as simple as can be. I've had it for about, I think, 10 years. It's holding up good. The zippers are starting to get a little weird on it. It's still nice and waterproof. I've retreated it several times. Like I said, it's a great tent, just kind of want something a little bit better. And then the last thing this year, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying about doing a better job of documenting my trips. I have my grandfather's Olympus OM1 35 millimeter SLR camera. It's from the 70s. I like taking it out and actually taking film photos with it. I did it on a couple of my big trips, but I really haven't done it nearly enough. So that's something I want to work on this year too. I want to go out. Sorry. Very, very cool, loud exhaust. I can't speak, mine's loud too. But I want to make sure that I take the film camera out. I want to shoot some more film. If you've never shot an actual film camera compared to a digital camera, it's a completely different experience because you don't have that instant gratification. You can't just take the picture and stop and look at it real quick and go, oh, I wish I'd have framed it slightly different, or I wish I'd have adjusted my exposure a little bit. You have to get it perfect. You have one chance, and you won't know for probably weeks whether you got it right or not. So you got to make sure everything's lined up. It helps you slow down, be more in the moment, which honestly is something that I didn't have written down, but I probably should add to my goals for 2023, is to slow down a little bit more, be more in the moment, enjoy what I'm doing. So yeah, that'll be the last one that I'll add to the list. All right, and for the last part of the video, I wanted to review some of the places and different trips I want to go on this year in 2023. These probably won't all happen, but they're things that are on my radar, places I want to visit, trails I want to go on, and hopefully at least most of them work out and I get some cool content to share with y'all and just get to go out and have fun. First thing is I want to explore a little more locally here in Oklahoma. We are definitely not an overlander's paradise here, but there are some cool things out there. Up in the northwest part of the state, there's actually a large area of sand dunes. And I think that would be just really neat to go up there and drive around. That's on my list. I meant to do it last year and just somehow it never quite happened. Definitely gonna try to make that happen this year, go play in the sand dunes. I think it will just be super fun. Next, I'm a Texan. I'm from Texas. It doesn't matter how long I live here in Oklahoma, I will always be a Texan. And I want to go play in Texas. I want to go down to Big Bend National Park. It's kind of a Texas bucket list thing. It's one of the few places in Texas that I've never got to go and play. And I definitely want to go. I've seen some of the videos I've seen from other people. It just looks neat. I want to go. There's not a whole lot of trails down there, but the ones that are there, I want to go check out. I want to go to I think it's Boquillas. I want to go and ride across into Mexico and ride the donkey into town and get lunch. And I want to do all that fun stuff. It just sounds neat. Kind of along with that, I would love to make these two trips work together, but I don't know if I can take that much time off at once. I would love to go down to Big Bend and then do the New Mexico backcountry discovery route on the way home. It's something I've been looking into. It's not that far for me. It would take a week or so to do it. Definitely looks like I could do the whole trail in the 4Runner. So that's definitely real high up on my radar. And then other than that, I'm not definitely one of the Ozarks. They're not that far from me. I want to go around the Ozark Overland Adventure Trail. It just looks neat. Maybe sneak down to the Ouachitas, play down there a little bit. It's only a couple hours away. I can't believe I haven't been out there yet, but need to make that happen. And then going back to that whole Texas thing, I would also love to run out west of here to Maris Adventure Park. It's near Amarillo, Texas. If you haven't heard of it, look it up. It's MERUS Adventure Park. I'm blanking on the name of the big canyon there now. Palo Verde Canyon. It's, I want to say, the second largest canyon in the U.S. behind the Grand Canyon. I've been to Palo Verde Canyon before. It's amazing. It doesn't look like you're on Earth. It looks like something from another planet. It's amazing. And at Maris Adventure Park, it is the only place that you can actually, it's private land. It's an actual adventure park. You can drive your own vehicle. They got trails all over the place, but you can drive down into the canyon. You can camp in the canyon. You can camp up on the ridge and look down into the canyon. That just sounds cool. Everything I've seen from there looks amazing. They got some great trails. They got trails that are way out of my league, but it looks like they definitely have some that I would have fun on too. And then that's really the the main like trips I have lined up that I want to go do. Like I said, probably won't all happen, but hopefully I can pull off most of them. Then I just wanted to finish up the video by saying, planning on doing a contest when we hit 50 subscribers. When I last checked, we're sitting at like 16 or 17. The channel's just getting started. This will be the 5th video. But once we hit 50 subscribers on YouTube, I'm not 100% sure on the rules yet, so don't quote me. But what I'm planning on doing is something like taking the 50 subscribers, randomly selecting someone to send them a gift card good for 1 year of premium access to Onyx Off-Road. I'm an Onyx trail guide. I love Onyx. I've used other programs like Gaia too. There's nothing wrong with them. They're great programs. I just prefer Onyx. So like I said, once we hit 50 subscribers, we'll do that giveaway for that Onyx 1 year premium membership. It gives you full access to all of their layers and different maps. It's a really great tool for going out and going off-road. And then lastly, I just wanted to say a special thanks to a couple of people that are always I always see their names popping up, liking stuff on Instagram that I'm putting out. So Indigo Taco, Viking Overlander, and Forerunner Salamanders. Thanks, y'all. It's really neat to see this content getting out to people that are not just here in town. They can watch my stuff. So I really appreciate y'all. It seems like y'all like almost everything I put out. So I really appreciate it. And then for the rest of y'all, look us up on Instagram. On Instagram, we're Stormcrow Overland. You can also find us on YouTube at Stormcrow Overland. And then if you are watching this on YouTube, we release the audio as a podcast. Pretty much anywhere you find podcasts, you should be able to find us. If you are listening to this as a podcast, just so you know, we also have video, and I try to put in some B-roll or pictures here and there too of things we're talking about. Like I said, that's also released on YouTube. And finally, like I said, we're on Instagram. Like us there. If you like what we're doing, we really like to create a community of like-minded individuals. So give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing. Really appreciate it. I want to say thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes it really takes getting lost before you go out and find yourself. Thanks, guys.